Snowflake, as an engineering organization, prides itself on engineering excellence. Everyone always operates with striving for excellence in mind. Hi, my name is Devin Petersohn. I'm an engineer on the Snowpark team. I serve as the Python architect for the general space. I started working at Snowflake because my company Pandas got acquired by Snowflake in 2023. Right out of high school, I didn't go to college. I actually joined the Marine Corps, and I was a Korean linguist from 2008 to 2012. After that, I did my undergrad at University of Missouri and then went on to do a PhD at UC Berkeley. My PhD focused on DataFrames. As a part of that PhD, I built an open source system called Modin. Ultimately, I decided to try to commercialize the open source project that I created, Modin, and co-founded a company with a couple of other colleagues that I had there at Berkeley. And we founded a company called Pandas and built an interesting product, and that integrated really well with Snowflake and solved a problem that's so fundamental that Snowflake decided to acquire us and offer it as a first-party solution. It's been a very interesting path to get here, because just a few years ago, I was a PhD student toiling away at my computer trying to write my thesis. The most interesting part about being able to leverage Modin is actually Modin's place in the Python ecosystem and the ability for outside libraries to integrate with it. A lot of times when you build a new Pandas API, you end up stapling that onto your existing infrastructure and ecosystem, and you might make decisions that go against what somebody who's familiar with that API might choose. And because of the way that the Modin is architected, it forces you to be Pythonic and be in that Python ecosystem. These benefits really set Snowflake's solution apart in the DataFrame space because, to be frank, nobody uses a DataFrame by itself. Nobody is just going to use a Pandas API. They're going to use Pandas with NumPy, or they're going to use it with scikit-learn, or they're going to use it with some plotting libraries so that they can visualize their graphs. These types of things are things that Modin natively integrates with, and that really sets Snowflake apart. The biggest benefit that you get to having a Pandas API and this kind of native Python experience in Snowflake is just having the ability to interact with your data in a way that's comfortable to you in the language of your choice without having to move data around. Moving data is often the most time-consuming and complex part about any data workload. Sometimes you'll be waiting 20, 30 minutes for your data to be staged and ready for you to interact. In this case, you just sit down and you open up your Snowflake notebook and are ready to go. It's not possible to get that anywhere else. I think the most interesting thing about working on DataFrames at Snowflake is that we're treating this as a greenfield space. We're continuing that work here at Snowflake and trying to push the envelope of what's possible. Historically, people have called something a data frame, but they remove certain components that are difficult to scale or that make it a little bit tricky to operate quickly. They remove features in the interest of performance. And what we'd really like to see is this movement back to not removing features, giving users the kind of capabilities that they want, but also with that scale that they're used to. And so when we offer a data frame, what we're talking about is offering the ability to have all of these features that you're used to, the native experience that you're used to, and also have the scale, the security, and the governance, all of the benefits that you already get from Snowflake. Those should just be all built in. This isn't something that people have done before. This is new, and it is very interesting. There are a lot of interesting problems that we get to work on every day. Snowflake, as an engineering organization, prides itself on engineering excellence. Everyone always operates with striving for excellence in mind. Every idea, every design review, every code review, everyone's always trying to give the best feedback that they possibly can so that the product can be the best that it could be. When we're looking for folks to join the team, we're looking for people who have a deep familiarity with Python and the Python ecosystem. Everything that we do on our team is in the open source. And so we also really like having people who have done open source contributions in the past, particularly if they're to popular open source projects. Additionally, we also look for folks who have worked in SQL before and have a database background of some sort and can understand the internals of how databases work. Part of the Snowflake product ethos is that it's really important that we understand how things are going to execute from end to end. These are the main things that I would focus on in terms of developing skills and capabilities for working on something like Snowpark Pandas. I think what we're going to continue to see is more expansion in this space, more APIs, more integrations, and just trying to give Python developers and perhaps other languages the ability to operate in their language of choice without the data having to leave Snowflake.